Welcome to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and today we're making summer rolls with a spicy peanut sauce.
Grab a plate, 'cause it's the all-free whole food plant-based cooking show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today we are making summer rolls. And I know there's a lot of maybe misnaming of these. I think a lot of people call these spring rolls. But I think the difference between them is a spring roll uses a flour-based wrapper, and then they fry them, maybe deep fat fry them. But summer rolls, you use rice paper wraps. This is Blue Dragon. You can get these at just about any grocery store in the Asian food aisle. You might have to ask somebody where they are because they're really flat. They just stack them flat like this, maybe on a bottom shelf. Wonderful. All right, so the first thing you need to do is get yourself a container that is just slightly bigger than this and maybe just, kind of shallow, and you fill it with warm water. Because if you can see, the rice wrappers are pretty stiff, and if you try to roll them, they're going to crack and break. So what you do is first, you get all of your vegetables ready, and these are just ones that we had on hand. These are cucumbers, red peppers, shredded carrots, some tofu that's very extra firm tofu that's sliced really thin, some spring greens, and then our broccoli sprouts. If you're not sprouting, you should be sprouting. So we have a show on sprouts too. We'll give you a link in the details below. But you want to have all of that ready before you start making these. So what you do is you just slide them into the water, under the water. You might have to push them down just a little bit. And you leave them in there for about 15 seconds. You don't want to leave them too long because once you start rolling them, they'll start tearing apart and they're really hard to work with if you leave it in there too long. And once you do 2 or 3, you'll figure it out. Okay, so that's about right. So it's still kind of stiff, but it has some pliability, see? Then you put it on your cutting board, and then you start stacking your vegetables. I should have cut those a little bit thinner, but you don't want to overstuff them, so it's, you just put in a little bit of everything. And I shredded the carrots instead of doing a matchstick style like the rest of them, because the carrots are so tough that when you crunch into them, it kind of takes away from the rest of the vegetables. So it's nicer to have them just shredded. And this is completely up to you what vegetables you use. You can do sweet or savory. You can do like fruit type of ones. There's all kinds of different recipes that you can use and combinations. But this is just the one we like. And it's a good way to use up extra vegetables that you have left over from another meal. Okay, so you want to stack your vegetables kind of towards the back, but not right at the edge, because you want to be able to pull the edge over. And you use your other fingers to kind of tuck the rest back, like that. And I hold it. And then if you have something, that you like to see, that's a little bit prettier, you can put this, you kind of tuck it down in the edge a little bit. And then you pull the sides over like this. And then this side. Takes a little bit of patience and coordination. So it's a little bit of a meditative type of practice. And then you start rolling, but you're kind of tucking as you go. But you don't want to pull too hard, because if you pull too hard, when you're trying to wrap it really tight, you can tear the rice paper. And then all of those will just spill out, just like that. Pretty nice. And then you stack them on your plate. And when you're putting these on the plate, you don't want to stack them. You hardly even want them touching, because when that rice paper touches another rice paper, it's like glue. And when you try to pull them apart, it's just going to tear them open. So I'm going to continue making up the rest of these, and then I'll get the ingredients out for our spicy peanut sauce. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos, along with our entire catalog of free printable recipes on our website, plantbasedcookingshow.com, and our Plant-Based Cooking Made Easy cookbook series, are all made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting membership community. Our supporting members gain access to great member perks like our monthly product giveaways, ebooks, and in-depth courses, including our 28 Days Plant-Based Made Easy course, where we offer a step-by-step guide to making the switch to a fully plant-based diet. So if you love our recipes, I invite you to join us on our mission to make plant-based cooking easy, and follow the link in the description to become a supporting member today. Okay, let's get back to the show. All right, finally done with these spring rolls. Look at these, aren't those beautiful? So bright and vibrant. You're gonna be eating a lot of vegetables in here. All right, on to the sauce. So we've got 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and this is a no salt, no oil peanut butter. It's just roasted peanuts, ground up. 2 teaspoons of lime juice, a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a half teaspoon of red crushed peppers, or crushed red pepper flakes, 1.5 teaspoons of tamari sauce, and then we have some water. And we're just gonna add a little bit as we go, as we're mixing. And this is kind of up to you and your preference of how thick you want your sauce to be. We're just gonna start with a little bit. And I know a lot of people out there put sriracha sauce in it to give it that heat. Essentially, we're doing that with the crushed red peppers. But sriracha, it tends to have a lot of extra added ingredients that you really don't need. So we're just making our own little delicious sauce. And if you want to make it a little bit spicier, add a little more crushed red peppers, or even like chili powder or something like that. All right, so this is a little bit thick. So we're gonna add a little bit more water. Blend it again. Okay, we're getting there. Yeah, this is just right. So that was probably maybe 1/3 cup of water. 1/4 cup to 1/3, somewhere in there. There we go. Look at that delicious sauce. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, so now that's all that's left is to eat. So I'm gonna grab a plate and I'll meet you at the table for a taste. All right, here we go. Look at these. So that made 4, let's see, 7. Perfect. So Jeff can have 4 and I'll have 3. Let's see, I'm gonna take this guy. Wow, it turned out so nice. All right, but here we go. It's all about the flavor though. Dip it in that sauce. What an amazingly simple and delicious way to eat a ton of vegetables. This is a meal in itself, for sure. So be sure to give this video a like, guys. Click the subscribe button, and I'll see you next week for another great recipe.